Hello, dude. I did. Yo, I know. Dubai was fantastic. Abu Dhabi, spectacular. Wow, these are two sister cities. You loved my Jello, so here it is again, infused with vodka. Delicious, delicious. Now, I have a little cough, but I gotta tell you, being on the plane for fucking 36 hours between coming and going, and it's breathing that recycled air. Ugh. Let me tell you, I don't do well with air conditioning. I mean, my house, the bill is outrageous with the air conditioning, but I don't like air conditioning. I have the good old fan. I've been taking black seed oil. And one of you recommended whiskey with honey and lime, huh? I've been drinking that, and you hear that it's loose. Before it was really bad. It's loosening up. Sometimes it sounds worse than it is. But if it didn't sound like that, then that means that it's not coming off. You know, it's coming off the chest and coming out into the bronchial. Then, yeah, you know, and it sounds nasty. But it has to sound like that because that's how you know that it's working. Because it's loosening it up. If it did, then it'd be a problem, right? Then we're looking at pneumonia, something like that, you know. And last year I had walking, and let me tell you, pneumonia is nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. It'll take you out. I know people who've died of pneumonia like that. They have a little cough, they go in the hospital, and they're dead in 2 or 3 days. Pneumonia is nothing to play with. So I'm very vigilant of that. Because I had it a year or two ago. But you know what? Jehovah, my creator, will always make sure that I walk away unscathed. But it also means me taking care of myself a little more. So when I was in Dubai, I did a detox. For the entire 7 days I was there, I drank very, very minimal. I mean, really very minimal. I ate a lot. A lot of healthy foods. I drank lots of soups. You know, that country, they're so health conscious. It's a Virgo country. And of course, I can tell you, I can go on and on and on and on about Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I read your comments on the special announcement video I did on subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for understanding, for being supportive. There are some people out there that can be a little mean-spirited and very self-entitled and kind of arrogant, and I thought I was arrogant, you know. But there's some people out there that feel that I owe them something, you know. And I had to make it clear that sometimes I do feel how they feel, you know. Like one lady said that I don't stay on topic and it's so annoying. I found that very entitledish of her to say. But you know, I'm 52. She's probably very young, as most people on YouTube are very young, you know. And of course, you know, these changes change, and those opinions and attitudes change over time. Um, One thing about me, I love staying on topic, but when I have these beings channeling, it's hard to stay on topic and to stay focused. Because a lot of times, you know, they don't want me to give all the goods. They want me to give random stuff so that you can get a whole perspective, you know? Because again, at the end of the day, it is a business. It's to make you come and get a birth chart. But of course, I like to give you a little more because um, even if you did, if even if I gave minimal and did it just for the birth chart and just for business, it will not serve me well either, because it's so much information, you know, that I love giving this for free on YouTube. I'm not devaluing myself or devaluing the content, because there are a lot of people out there that charge a lot of money The conference in Dubai, and that was just for an hour. I did that for free. In that same conference hotel where I did my video, I had two other astrologers, and I didn't know that they were even there. And you know how much they charged? 8 grand, and the place was packed. 8 grand. But you see, as a member of the Rosicrucian and someone who takes a vow to give services for minimal pay, I can't charge you that kind of money. It will be a violation spiritually. For me to be that kind of astrologer, I will have to leave the order. And I'm not going to do that because then I lose the resource of knowledge that I get from the order. You know? So we're not here to be rich behind this. You know, we're here to live modestly and have just enough to get by. I might make a little more. I might need to make a little more money than the rest because I have to travel the world and teach these principles, which require me to, live in a certain way. I know some of you are probably going to skip this and go to the nitty gritty and the meat, but I need to put that out there. I also want to take the opportunity to thank those of you who have been donating because I was $300 in the hole. Now I'm 225. So thank you for your donations eating away at the debt. Because until that happens, I don't get any benefit or any money because I had one or two very inconsiderate people who, after I've given them their readings, they've rescinded on me. I give them lots of light and I send them lots of love because that could be a test for me. Is that going to stop me? And will I still treat these people with love and dignity? Of course I will. Because and I'm a shaman, so if you're going to dick me like that, and I'm a shaman, then I have to pray for you and send you light because then Jehovah is going to take care of you. Because I'm one of his chief priests. If you do that to me, you're fucking with the wrong thug. now I got to pray. And as Jehovah, forgive, forgive. Forgive. Like in Clash of the Titans. Remember Cassiopeia, the queen? Hera got mad at her. Remember? And she destroyed the palace and all the Cassiopeia says, forgive, forgive. After she insulted Hera, calling Andromeda the most beautiful woman, even above the gods. That of course that caused Hera in Clash of the Titans, the Greek mythology. That caused Hera to get pissed off. Really, bitch? Really? You could bring that bitch to me and I'm a goddess? Really, bitch? You have to. That scene was so hilarious. It was not funny because that was an intense scene because Hera got upset and caused an earthquake and anyway, everybody was dying left and right. That was in the 80s. And everybody like, ah. It was a horrific scene back in the day. Shows you how the dark gods can get angry. They have passion just like we do. As above, so below. I hope you've been liking the videos I've been doing on Instagram, giving you, esoteric knowledge, an hour each. That's also free. And that's also, you give donations. Continue to do that. But I do want you, like I said, to learn to get this knowledge on your own. But some of you might not be ready to handle this knowledge on your own. So then I break it down to you. And I'm very happy to do that. Okay? But I'm a hustler, so you got to keep the coins going because that negative hole put me in a hole. And now that I got back from Dubai, I'm being honest with you. I'm a dude just like you and me. I got bills, just like you and me. So I trust you to understand because if I'm not transparent, you're not going to eventually trust me. A real shaman is transparent to those he helps. Because I don't separate myself from you. We are all the same people. We're all in the same boat. We're all in this together. We're all part of the same human family, going through the same situations in and out. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm going to do now Venus in Aquarius part 3, the esoteric perspective. And you know that that's an hour. So 9 minutes of information shouldn't kill you. It's for you. All right? Okay, now let's set the music and the tone. Aquarius, and of course my it's a yellow pudding pop. Now, come on, the music be acting up. Okay, okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh dear. Something on my device. My device. Okay, we're going to talk about Venus in Aquarius. The esoteric perspective, the esoteric version. You have to understand that Venus in Aquarius as a pre-existing pattern, right? The individual that's born with Venus in Aquarius, many individuals, if not all individuals that are born with Venus in Aquarius, have been rebelling. Okay, you've been rebelling. You've been living lifetime after lifetime after lifetime rebelling against your mother or against your father, against your brothers and sisters, siblings, society, government. There's always something. There's always something. You're always rebelling against something or someone. Okay? You're always rebelling against something, and that something can be an idea, a philosophy, or the concept of government itself. Okay? Um, you are rebelling or you are trying to liberate yourself from the basic and common values that you share with your fellow human beings of a particular race or culture. Let's say you are an Irish guy, but you were born with Venus and Aquarius, and you're an Irish guy. You are not going to be happy being an Irishman. From time to time, you might not like being common, an average Joe Schmo among the average clan. You might want to be special, separate yourself, be unique. And if you don't feel that way about yourself, being born with Venus in Aquarius, you will seek someone that is different and unique, that fits a different model than what you've been known to respect and love and cherish and even uphold. You are the one who will turn your back on that which has been familiar and go for uncharted territories and for that which is foreign and even dangerous to you, Aquarius. Let's start there. Let's start there. Now, having said that, the casual factor that generates this kind of rebellion is emphasized with the feeling that within the psychology of the person born with Venus in Aquarius, the people, you feel that there's a inherent difference in you. It's like you don't feel normal, and that's something that you don't talk about. Venus in Aquarius, you don't talk about how different you feel in the inside, but deep, it vibrates deep, deep within. You won't even talk about it. You're scared to talk about it. You don't know how to define it, but you know that it's something that gnaws at you. You don't know how to articulate it into words either. But you know that you are different. At a core level, at a spiritual, intrinsic level, you know that you are different. The even. And there could be a certain level of paranoia in you in thinking that other people see the same thing or feel about you the same way. And this could be totally false, but it can also be true. Because even if it isn't true, the mere fact that you feel that it is becomes real then. And then other people will treat you accordingly. Venus in Aquarius. Okay. So, the people born with Venus in Aquarius, as a result, feel different and feel a sense of a cultural alienation or estrangement. How can I make an example? Cultural estrangement, cultural alienation. That's how the person born with Venus in Aquarius feels. They don't feel even comfortable in their own skin. They don't feel comfortable in their own race, culture, or even sex. Yeah. There's a feeling within their own individuality in which they feel that they've always been different and that they always feel different. And they can't shake that off. They can't shake it off. Shake, 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 me no right. Stay do the body right. Hot, 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 yeah, make the body right. Remember that's some Beetlejuice. Anyway, you have to understand that in these situations, when you have Venus in Aquarius as a pre-existing pattern, that you are here to detach from your culture, detach from your race, detach even from your own sex, and vibrate at the own rate of your own vibration. And the only way that that's going to happen is by completely turning your back on your race, your culture. And that happens with friends, family members, country. But this creates a sense of vacuum from within. Thank you. So understand that this type of emptiness, because it does feel like an emptiness. It feels like a void inside, and you don't know what to do. Who do you talk to about these feelings? You don't know. And even if you had an idea of who to talk to, it doesn't mean that they'll understand what you're talking about. Because the person with Venus in Aquarius, and to a certain degree, the sun sign in Aquarius, produces an aura around the person. And this aura that's produced around the person becomes a magnet of repulsion. You know, when you have two magnets, you put them together, they repel each other. But yeah, you can take those two magnets and put them on the refrigerator or put it on some metal object and they stick. But once you take them out and you try to put them together like kryptonite, it pushes apart. It won't, that's the inner pulling and repulsion that the Venus and Aquarius person feels. And to a certain extent, the Venus in Scorpio as well. The coiled serpent. The slinky. Remember I mentioned that? Well, in the Aquarian model, Venus and Aquarian, the slinky stays stuck. And you gotta take the bitch and smash it on the floor and do something to it to prior so it can sling again. There's awful rigidity, both on the part of the man and the woman born with Venus in Aquarius. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, even though, because you have several types of this kind, and remember what I said. Complexity, the ego and the personality reaches greatest complexity in these upper signs and upper phases. So we are here. We have to distinguish several types. Even though the archetypical intent of Venus in Aquarius is to rebel against the prevailing society culture that it finds itself in, um, there are three levels in which it does this. Three levels of reaction in which it does this. But before I say what they are, let me re- I won't be long. Okay. Like Wendy Williams says, pick up a snack and come on back. Because this is in our video, so it gave me a chance to also go to the restroom, I stretch out my legs. Remember, I just spent 22 hours on a flight and then jumped right in and took care of some business that I had to take care of, some banking and administrative businesses, do a few meetings, and then sit here and do these videos. So I'm going to crash like a baby tonight. I will not be staying overnight. I'm making some fundamental changes to my schedule. I'm back in school, back at Columbia. I'm doing independent projects, so now working towards my post thesis. So I won't be able to do late night videos and binge drinking like before. Not at the fall level because now I have to work on, finishing, my studies. I gotta finish that. So three levels, three ways in which the Venus in Aquarius, and to a certain degree the Sun sign in Aquarius person, shows rebellion. Okay, shows how they disconnect from the society and from the prevailing consensus of that society, and they do this in three ways. Okay, in three ways. Now let's talk about those three ways. Okay. Okay, the first type or the first wave of reaction with the person born with Venus in Aquarius responds to rebelling and going against individuals, people, societies. Now, this is 70s. Again, Tito Puente, but instrumental. Very like 1972, 1973, like that almost disco. Great eras, but not like the 80s. No, not like the 80s. But it's okay. It's okay. Right. The first is react with rebellion against their own parents. Oh, that's a doozy. The person born with Venus in Aquarius, man or woman, the the first thing they do is rebel against their own parents. Yeah, yeah. They they react with rebellion. I mentioned those words carefully. They react with rebellion against society, their parents, and even their own peer group. The Venus in Aquarius, man or woman, can feel a complete disconnect from their own friends. That shit is deep. Oh, that shit is deep. Oh, a little drama don't hurt. That's the detoxing. That's the detoxing. I'm using also dandelion oil, oregano oil, maca root, and of course, Irish moss. And of course, the oregano oil does wonders. Oh, God. And so does the dandelion. Thanks to Corinne Green, who has her own business as a herbologist and gives me these fantastic herbs and tinctures to use to help, make me feel better and enhance my performances. So, yeah, they feel a total disconnect from their own race and culture. Uh oh. There is a Celia Cruz is singing Aquarius. Let me see if I can play it to you just for a second. Just for a second. Just for a second. Uh huh. This is the age of Aquarius. She's singing it in Spanish. It's wonderful. But see, look, it's my Saturn at all. Third house, do I say? Now, when I want to show it to you, it won't do it. A nice song, too. Okay, it's a nice place. After I hook it up, see? Oh, the archons. Oh, they are crazy. They are crazy. Now, sometimes they like, come on, come on, come on. Okay, so that's one way that they react. hmm The second way that they react, again, the casual factor, because it's a casual factor that generates the necessary rebellion or liberation from the prevailing consensus of that society or of the social values of that society and the expectations that these values create in general. For example, uh, marriage. There are expectations when it comes to marriage before you get married and after you get married. There are rules of engagement that have to be respected in order to maintain a certain level of cohesion within a relationship. Okay? But this too can be thrown out the window by the Venus in Aquarius, man or woman. They just don't give a shit about anyone's value system. They want to create their own. At best, they'll create a synthesis of all the values and ethics and value systems that they have picked up along the way from others, and they'll create one concentric picture, mosaic, if you will, of a value system that's so utopic and so grand and out of this world and so inclusive at the same time that it will strike genius for those who acquire it or don't. Now, here's the thing. The way in which the Venus in Aquarius person can detach, well, I kind of said it. I said it in the word. React is one way. Another way is detachment. Detachment. Archetypically speaking, the relationship or the intention within the relationship by the person born with the sun sign in Aquarius or Venus in Aquarius is to objectify the relationship that they're in, almost like dissecting a frog in a petri dish. They want to see the emotions rather than feel them. They want to intellectualize the emotion rather than experience them. And there can be two takes behind this. Either the Venus in Aquarius person is afraid to experience the depths of their own emotions and feelings, not knowing how to handle them, or they're afraid that by being emotional, they'll lose intellectual perspective. And that's tough. That's tough because it means a certain level of maturity outside of what's familiar, um, outside of what's insulating and what's protective. Because just because the person may exercise detachment doesn't mean that they are not hurting while they are doing it. They may not want to separate, ideally, but they know that they have to if they are to learn another dimension of who they are. Because at every level of self discovery, there is a level of awareness that can also change you and transform you, not allowing you to be the same person all over again. Where there can be an evolutionary intention to grow and use the sense of detachment or the sense of reacting with rebellion as a way of learning more about who you are. They say that you learn more from your mistakes than you do your successes, and that here fits us well. That here fits us the model. Uh huh. That here fits us the model. So we have reaction against society, friends, family by being rebellious. And then the other is by severe detachment, extreme detachment. But here's the thing. How can I put it? How can I spin this? The Venus, is funny because it's almost like a double standard. The Venus in Aquarius, man or woman, may impose those standards upon you. But that doesn't mean that they have the strength and guts from within themselves to have that done to them. Oh, now we have a different situation. Mm. Oh, the jello won't get get on the spoon. Okay, that what the Venus in Aquarius person doesn't realize that because they vibrate this way, either part one or part two, which I'm about to go into, they bring to themselves, they attract to themselves people who resonate and vibrate the same way they think. So if they don't want to experience attachment and want to experience detachment, they're going to experience meeting someone that will treat them exactly the same way. And when that happens, the Venus in Aquarius, man or woman, can be so disenchanted and so like have the bubble busted in such a way where they might withdraw and go into a cocoon. And when that happens, now we have the loner Aquarian man take over. Because Aquarius is ruled by both the man, the individual man, and then the opposite polarity, which is Leo. Mm-hmm. Huh. What is this here I'm getting? No, no. This doesn't seem right. Let me make a change in my notation. But this is not correct here. And let me change the camera a little because it looks like it's not really giving me. Here we go. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, perfect. All right. The vibration of the third type of Venus in Aquarius will be someone vibrating at a rebellious vibration. Okay, these people are extremely intense. Okay, and this vibration will permeate their entire way of being. Okay, how they dress, how they appear, think, and how they relate to themselves and each other. Okay, the intensity of this vibration will naturally crave and as well as create an insecure and defensive reaction in other people. So other people are gonna either want to hurt you for no apparent reason or elevate you for no apparent reason. So this may have been some kind of infraction that may have occurred that needs balancing. Yeah, yeah. Ta-da-da. Hmm. The thing is here that with Venus in Aquarius, with this third type of vibrational intensity, uh, because they feel deeply insecure or ineffectual, and this type of aura or auric field that's created by the person born with Venus in Aquarius will be translated by others as an affront. Yeah. And if this becomes one of the main behavioral dynamics or comportment with the person born with Venus in Aquarius, both men and women, you can rest assured that that person is not going to be happy in a relationship for long. Something will happen in which he will walk out or she will walk out. The question is, what would it be? And what it would be a clash of value systems. A clash of value systems. If listen, if it don't gel, then it don't quell. If it ain't shaking, it ain't selling, like they say. Okay, so understand that it is a value system thing with the third type, whereas with the first type, it's just reacting with rebellion just for the sake of reacting with rebellion, and then the third is just another way of being sadistic and twisted. A thirst for blood. That was the first indicator. A thirst for blood, uh, and all three, either to see how the other person reacts, or to bully the other person, to or indoctrinate their own philosophy so that they can abandon the other partner, of course, their philosophy and employ that of the Venus and Aquarius. And then when the person does that, the Venus and Aquarius person will dump them or do a bait and switch and change their attitude towards the philosophy that they were employing so deeply, which now they're not, which can also confuse the readers, But this is the absolute. This is the absolute truth behind that. Yeah, yeah. It's deep. It's deep. But that's not all of it. That's not all of it. That's not all of it. Because the intellectual faculties are so heightened with Venus in Aquarius. Because remember, Venus naturally rules Libra and the cardinal air sign. So there's great objectivity with Venus in Libra and also Venus in Aquarius. But even the Venus in Libra seems more genuine and more interpersonal, whereas the Venus in Aquarius seems more generic and impersonal. And when it comes to matters of the heart and love and intimacy, which are functions of Venus, it can kind of become lost in Aquarius. You would think that this won't be so, but yes, yeah, it's phenomenal how you can be in love with a Venus in Aquarius man or a Venus in Aquarius woman, and everything's going well and a lovey-dovey, and then whoop, there's a flip, almost like a switch goes on and off, and now they give you the opposite polarity, which is Leo. Well, now you see this narcissistic flow of energy coming out of them, where what they do and how they do it and with whom they do it has nothing to do with you and is actually excluding you out. Yeah. And that in itself is very intense. In fact, so intense. I'm trying to see what kind of analogy can I use. None presents itself to me at the moment. Wow. This is really, really quite spooky. Hmm. At this juncture, it becomes a case by case basis. The birth chart, because I have to be careful here, the birth chart will have to be consulted to see where Venus falls and where Taurus falls in the birth chart. And then see how we can see how the Venus in Aquarius person is using the function of Venus. Because Venus has two speeds, the Taurian sensuous and the Libra beautiful. Beauty and sensuality go very, very well. And we see this expressed mostly in Taurus, with Venus in Taurus. Yeah, yeah. There is too much to cover here. Too much to cover here. I'm not going to be able to do this in an hour. We're already at 45 minutes. We're going to take a pause here, and then we're going to continue with part 4, Venus in Aquarius. I will be expecting your donations, guys. I'm get me out of this hole. 225 in the hole. Get me out of this hole. So it's 6:30. I'll be doing videos all night. Okay. So guys, we are done with part 3.